You meet a man, and after a period of a couple years, you find out that he's been fucking your wife. And after finding this out, she divorces you due to the no-fault divorce. You've been treating her unfairly. You haven't been paying attention to all her needs. And when all of the people, especially the women, that are family friends, find out what's happened, they support this other man. They say he's much more of a provider than you. They say he's able to lead your wife and your family to greener pastures. And for some reason, this man is loved and adored by your wife, or should I say your ex-wife, and every other woman that knows him. Then you find out 4 or 5 years on from that, whilst you're in some cesspit, no job, no life, you then find out that this guy is now sleeping with your son. He's been having some conjugal affairs with your son. If this isn't bad enough, you realize that your wife has been protecting him, because if everybody found out what this man was doing all along under the care of your estranged wife, she would not be able to withstand the ridicule. Doing some further investigations, nobody out of all of the conclave of supporters of this man have ever come forward and ever said one bad thing about this man. Why is this? Because this guy is been funding them with a lavish lifestyle, funding them with all sorts of gifts and trinkets. And we all know how materialism is the new lord. So you then find out that all of the monies, all of the times that your wife was not with you, she was at the door of this man, giving him personal information about you and your marital affairs. What would you do if this was you? What would you do if a single-handed man, a man on his own, a lone ranger, a manipulator, a motherfucker, because he's literally fucked your son's mother, if you found out a man like this did this to you, what would you do? Would you oust him? Would you do everything in your power to gather all the good men that you know to bring this guy to justice? What then would you do if you found out that this guy is protected by governments? He's protected by the society, because without him, they would not get their weekly supply, a monthly supply of doodads, gadgets and trinkets. Now I'm sure what I've just said here, it sounds totally barbaric and of level of savagery. But this guy that I've been mentioning to you, that is being harbored and looked after by the women in your society, your wife, and even the boys and all the other men saying nothing, is your deacon, your pastor, your shepherd, the wolf in sheep's clothing that is taking advantage of his prey. You go to your church, you get on your knees, and you pray to the shepherd, and it fleeces you of all your worldly possessions, just so you can be closer to the entity called God. And yet, you silly, pompous savages give money to a tax-exempt corporation. You are nothing more than a backward savage. You give money to this man because you as a parishioner, He doesn't have to pay the taxes because he's nothing more than your servant. But yet he's living a better life than you. He's having sex with all your women, and now he's having sex with all your boys, because before he became a pastor, he was an inmate at a prison for either robbery, molestation, murder, and all sorts of skullduggery. And his best friend wasn't his right hand, but was his cellmate. After 4 or 5 years in prison, they both indulged in buggery. Now he's in your community and he's protected, because everybody knows no one ever speaks bad about the man of the cloth.